Hello, this is Smoking in G Sharp. I hope all of you are doing great out there. Your holiday was filled full of joy and fun, and now we're moving into a new year. I hope it's going to be better than this last one. Whoa. But more so, today I'm here to talk about a Pembrokeshire building. Yes, we have this fort. It's called Stack Rock Fort. It's built on a small island off of Pembrokeshire, which is Wales, for those of us who don't live in the area. It's a three-gun fort that was built between 1850 and 1852 and then upgraded in 1859. Now, before we go any further, I want you to look at this fort. It is on what they call an island. I call it like a rocky remnants of a reef. That's the first red flag that went up for me. And they only did this in 2 years. And this is a huge building. I'm going to show more pictures in it shortly here. It could not have just taken 2 years. I watch massive buildings going up today that take, 5, 6 years sometimes to complete. I mean, your standard, let's say, 30 apartment building would probably take a good 2 or 3 years to build, but you have modern technology and a whole different construction style. This is stone and brick. Now, the other thing I wanted to point out before I move on further is how it all got started. This was first proposed by Thomas Cromwell. He was a lawyer for Henry VIII back in the 1530s. Okay, and he proposed doing something like this apparently in 1539. And unfortunately, he literally lost his head to Henry VIII the very next year. That was one king you just did not want to mess with. So I also kind of speculate that story, because why would a lawyer who, I don't know, maybe has some military experience would propose something like this, and then he loses his head the next year? I don't know. But similar proposals were made in the following centuries. In 1748, Lewis Morris carried out a survey reporting for building something like this due to shipwrecks, navigation, and such. And then another survey followed in 1817, but they really didn't get, according to this story, to it till 1850, and it was completed in 1852. Okay, let me switch to another picture while I discuss that part a little further, so you can get a really good idea of this. See how sometimes the tides come in and you just get a glimpse of the reef that it really is on? This is not an island. Okay, everybody. So this tells me that they would have to get most of that stone out there by ship. So I looked up the day of the 1850s and what kind of transportation they had. And at this time, they did have steamships. Okay, it could carry a weight without, a lot of manual labor, let's say like rowing. However, this is a really shallow area. So even if they had steamships, they'd have to be rather small and kind of flat bottomed to get up into this area. I don't know. It doesn't go into any detail about having special boats to do this, to pull this off. See, there's another red flag. And it said it was built for a 3-gun, but as you can look in this picture, Google this please as well so you can get a real close-up, that I see more like 6 or 7 turrets, gun turrets on top. So it could have been modified. They said it was modified again in 1859. But look at this building. Could they possibly build this structure on a reef in 2 years? And it's stone. It's brick. We're not talking modern day glass and steel frame construction. Look at it. And also notice that the brick on the bottom half, where it's been divided, is just a little different than the brick on top. Now, I could see it being modified in a couple of years, but built from scratch, boy, they'd have to come up with a heck of a foundation. It's sitting in water most of the time. Let me grab another picture as I tear this one apart. Okay, this is obviously from the roof looking down. I mean, it has several levels, and just look at the different brick that they've used here. It's very old. You can see like trees and moss and things have grown over it. See in the top right-hand corner, see there's a smidgen of, what would you call that, modern brick? Replacement brick? Different? It's different than the rest. I don't know. I think, in my humble opinion, that this is a pocket of survival. I think that it had been sitting out there forever, probably all broken up. It wasn't looking like it is now. You got a facelift. But no one in their right mind in the 1500s, 16, 17, 18, see, the story just keeps traveling through the decades there, through the centuries, and then it ends up, pop the magic dragon. Here it is, 2 years later. No, I'm not buying it. Not at all. And isn't it interesting how even back then, the government of the day just kind of covers up these buildings like, well, they were kind of there, but they really weren't there. And we modified them, or voila, we built this thing in 2 years. Just believe our story. Even though you saw it there before, I know. Just ignore the man behind the red curtain and believe our story now. I think that this is one of those. I would love to fly there, but yeah, I'm not going to go along anymore with the plan that they want us to go along with in order to travel. Sad, but true. Anyway, I think I'll just keep this one another short one. I hope shortly I can have a live show. I don't know when exactly. I'm just trying to allow a long-standing headache to go away, and then I'll be back shortly and bring this up again, maybe. Talk about these buildings that they keep saying that, I mean, and yes, and one last thing before I go. If indeed they could have gotten ships, steamships, because I don't know how else you get, rowboats, I don't know. All this out there to build. Could you imagine the men that would have to stand in water all the time I mean, see, none of this makes sense here. None of this makes sense to me. I'm just trying to connect dots, and I'm failing to do so with the Stack Rock off of Pembrokeshire. And that is in Wales, people. Please look it up. In the meantime, be well, take care, and stay frosty.